Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. It's time for some magic. Hi, Maruna. I miss you so much. I want to give you giant hugs. I can't. Okay, there we go. Sticking my phone up there so I can see you all. Hello, everybody joining. Right? I was missing you as well. Often when I have some personal, like massive amount of change, or I'm part of a massive amount of change, time seems like extended as though it's been 1,000 years since I've been here with you guys. And really, it's been a week. I saw you last week, but it really has the sense of like years. Over the weekend, I facilitated a foundation class, and it was probably one of the most dynamic foundation classes I have ever facilitated. The spaces that opened up and the change that even me as a facilitator, but the participants chose was massive. So here we are 1,000 years later. And I woke up and the world was very weird today. I don't know how it was for you guys. I've been telling people, I'm like, yeah, I woke up and my brain's just missing. So, so in playing with the topic for today, there were a few energies like really coming up and really desiring to be engaged with. And one of it is this sense of what if magic believes in you? Oh, I am a different space. Oh, thanks. Thanks for noticing. It's like, when you get a new haircut. Thanks, Marina. um, have you had awarenesses that are so beyond this reality? And when you try to co-create with someone or share it with someone or invite someone to it, they can't seem to get it. This has been kind of the story of my life. I believe I'm from the future. Hi everyone from the future, and I'm excited about creating all of these things that most people seem to not arrive at even being able to grasp or engage with these awarenesses for years later. I've been seeing this dynamically even in my own business and in creations, and when I work with other facilitators or other projects, it's been this awareness of this huge possibility, this sense of like, whoa, this energy. And then with access and the tools, we always know to ask, when is the time? So for those of you amazing creators out there that have a lot of creations talking to you all the time, a great question to ask is, now the time? Now, what happens if you get a sense that now is the time and still nobody gets it? Or they're excited to bring this big possibility to like the smallest denominator of what's possible. And then how many of us have made ourselves crazy? We've decided that we're crazy, or we've decided that maybe it wasn't that great. This is where all those doubts come up. Those doubts about you, about what you're aware of, especially when majority rules. Okay, so the golden rule is majority rules. Please know the rules don't apply to you anymore. But this has been the golden rule for trillions of years, okay? Majority rules. So now let's say you get into a crate meeting and the majority of the people, they don't get what you get. They can't perceive what you can perceive. Well, majority rules. It doesn't exist. What you perceive isn't valuable. What you perceive isn't as grand and as glorious as you perceived it to be, because that's what majority rule says. Everything that is times a godzillion. Can we just reign and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So any of you new to hearing that those delicious words I just said, that is the clearing statement. You can get more information on what the clearing statement is at theclearingstatement.com. But essentially, it's a set of words that have been crafted to create magic, to create change, to clear out energies. So when we bring up, and that's part of what I've been doing since we've started, is I'm actually bringing up a lot of energy that is within your world so that we can clear it out. Have a nice face to it. Clear it out. So now let's get back to being crazy. So you have all these perceptions, all these possibilities, all these awarenesses. And thank you, Twilight, for posting that. Now, if majority rules and they can't get what this is going to create, what do you do? So do you make yourself crazy? And what I mean by make yourself crazy, do you decide I must be incorrect here? I must be the one. Because if majority, nobody gets it, then who am I to be the one that gets it? And this part of this is how creations will speak with you. So a creation is an entity in itself. And if that entity is speaking to you, whispering to you, asking for you to actualize it, to bring it into actualization, not only do you have to negate what you know, you have to reject that creation and reject the awareness of that creation, right? And then put all these little things in place to maintain the comfortable distance between you and the possibilities that you're aware of. So everywhere, we've been there and done that. All the creations that we neglected, negated, refused, and refuted to even believe in. Can we just reign and create all that? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if you're not wrong? What if you actually know something that nobody else knows? I was listening to a call with Dr. Dean here, the co-founder of Access Consciousness, yesterday, catching up on some of my calls and stuff. And he started to talk about Gary being like the pioneer for Access Consciousness. For many years, he was on his own. He was speaking to the possibilities of Access Consciousness, and he had no like embodied people having his back because they could not perceive what he could perceive. And when people joined him, they were there because they saw this as a way to make money, or they saw this as a way to seem cool, or they saw this as something to take from. They didn't grasp, they did not get the awareness of and the scope of what he got was possible here. And that's that small denominator. So at the beginning, I talked about you have this big idea and you share it, and then they want to bring it down to the smallest possible denominator. And that's what people were doing with Gary and Access. And he reached a point where he was like, this isn't easy. Is there ever going to be a time where people can receive this? And the awareness he got was 3 years. And in 3 years, he met Dane. And Dane got it. And then 30 years later, whatever, Access is a global phenomenon that is spreading across the world. Now, Gary was just a man who was aware of a magic. He was aware of something that didn't exist on planet Earth yet. And he was aware that he could facilitate it actualizing here. He was aware that he could be the catalyst for the possibility, the source for the possibility, the contribution for the possibility. He could be the possibility in the world. But also that not everyone is going to be able to perceive what he can perceive. Gary's from the future too. So I started to ask myself, how many years until people can receive what I have, what I have perceived in different areas, different aspects. One of the things I love about these Facebook Lives is that I get to speak to some of these energies and awarenesses that I perceive. Also with the As If by Magic Masterclass group, we, for those of you that don't know, we get together, a bunch of wizards, and we gather a few times a month. And where we can go in those conversations is that place that I've always wanted to go. And that actually showed up a lot in this foundation this weekend, of that, those awarenesses of those possibilities that are so far beyond this reality. They're so far beyond that smallest denominator possibility. They are so vast, and not everyone is going to get what you're aware of. And what if you didn't give up on yourself? What if you didn't give up at all? And what if you didn't give up on the magic that you know? Because the magic is not going to give up on you. Everything that brings up and lets down, leave straight and creative, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So the magic, these creations, these possibilities, they are talking to you because you have a capacity to perceive, to receive, to be and to know them, and to actualize them in ways that are quite magical, miraculous, and I would say mysterious. They won't give up on you. And so what I wanted to invite you today is to look at what would it be like for you to not give up on you. That's nice. What would it be like for you to never give up on what you perceive? On your own magic. Marina says, I perceive how much space and expansion you are, and you expand me as well as I'm watching you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Marina. Grateful for you. And Twilight says, yes, never give up on magic, never give up you. Love this combo. Thank you. Yeah. It was interesting because as we were looking for the topic, I was like, well, I want to talk about this and this and this and this and this and this. How do we bring it into a one conversation? And so as we're here and we're having this conversation, the energetic conversation, if you notice, is multiple dimensional in its conversion right now. Oh, Emily says, oh, melting just as you spoke directly to me. Yeah. Thank you for receiving this conversation. And thank you for being willing to hear the possibilities, to perceive them. How many possibilities have you brought into actualization that you haven't acknowledged? Oof. So everywhere you didn't acknowledge it, can we just reign and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, meows. Now, I'm not only talking about cause and effect directly related, okay? So, for example, have you ever had a brilliant idea, a brilliant creation, and you just knew, whoa, this is going to be amazing and this is going to change the world. And then 3 months, 6 months down the road, someone else institutes it. And you're like, that was my idea. What if you were actually, what if that was you actualizing it in the easiest way? Just because you're aware of so many possibilities and so many creations and so many energies and magics doesn't actually mean that you have to handle all the workload. Okay? It doesn't mean that it has to be cause and effect. Like, okay, I'm aware of this. I need to create this. I need to do this. It's not a linear thing. It might even just be your conversation with something that allows it to grow to something substantial enough that it can come into the world. Because what if it takes you believing in this magic for it to have enough energy to come here? I'm going to reference something. A really beautiful. There's this cartoon. I love this movie, and it's called Rise of the Guardians. And in it, there is a character, Jack Frost. Okay, so it's got like Sienna, it's got the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, like all these fun and fantastical creatures. And Jack Frost is one of the new Guardians, but no one can see Jack Frost. Whereas the rest of the Guardians are children, people can see them physically. So they have to be aware of when they show up and all of those things. But Jack Frost was invisible to everyone except for the Guardians. And when it took one kid, see, and every time I watch it, I cry a little bit. So pardon me today. It took one kid to believe in him for everything to change, for him to come into existence in a different way. So now get a sense of all of the magic, all of the possibilities, all of the creations. And what if it you're the one person? What if you're the only person that can allow its existence to be simply by your willingness to believe, to know, to perceive it, to receive it? And would you be willing, without any expectation or projection of what that means? What is that going to look like? What future is this going to create? You could be in that question, but no need of the cause and effect reality. Would you be willing to be that one person that believed in magic enough for it to exist here? Because magic believes in you and you exist with it. What if magic believes in you so tenaciously, so fiercely, so dynamically that you exist to it? And what if you could be that for magic, for the magical creatures that are talking to you? With bodies, without bodies? What if you could be that with the earth, with all the possibilities that you're aware of, the creations, all the ideas? What if you could have that communion and that conversation? How much would that change your world and change the world? What if magic believes in you? So if you are having those moments, if you're having those conversations where majority rules and the majority says what you perceive is not valuable or does not exist or isn't required, what if you could acknowledge it anyways? And then you can ask it, hey, I get you're real. I perceive you. I perceive the magnitude of you. I perceive the glorious possibility here. Show me, what can I be for you? What contribution is available here? What could I choose that would actualize this now or in the future? And from that space, you don't have to, there is no fight, there is no rejection of you. When you are able to acknowledge yourself, especially in the face of negation, then that is a magical, powerful way of being in the world. And it is a level of vulnerability with yourself and with these magical engagements that most people, they just can't have. Farah, yes, so true. Acknowledgement of your magic creates more magic. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. So that question about Gary, how many years until someone can receive access consciousness? And he got 3 years and he was willing to keep going for those 3 years. So what would you be willing to keep choosing, no matter what that looked like, to have the magical possibility that you know is true? And what if it could be joyful and playful and nurturing along the way? What if it doesn't have to be hard work? What if it could be ease and joy and glory? I get we've gone as far as we could go today, people. Thank you for this conversation, for opening up some magical possibilities here with me. I really do have a lot of gratitude for you and a lot of gratitude for these Facebook Lives and anyone, and I've said this probably every time at the end, just anyone willing to have a conversation about magic is I'm so grateful for, whether it's with me or with anyone, I don't care. So thank you for being willing to be here, for your energy, for your possibilities, and for every single time you acknowledge magic, and every single time you don't give up on yourself and what you know, and you keep going. Thank you. We'll see you next Thursday right here. Bye for now.